Unaware he owned the company signing their $800 million deal. They poured wine on him in front of 200 guests, calling him unworthy. No one knew the man they mocked was the investor behind the entire deal. Phones were recording. Whispers spread fast. Something shifted in his eyes as he walked out without a word, and the fallout started before they even realized he'd moved. Imagine this. The richest man in the room, dripping in red wine, treated like staff, and he says nothing. Yet 10 minutes later, an $800 million empire starts to burn. Keep watching because what happens next will shock you. Before StorySphere dives deeper, smash that subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell because stories like this drop every week, and you do not want to miss the revenge. You know that night where everything looks polished, but something ugly hides under the shine? That was the night Jamal Rivers walked into the high-end grand ballroom. He wore a navy suit, neat fade, simple watch, nothing flashy. The kind of look rich people ignored because it didn't scream for attention. He liked it that way. Let them guess. Crystal lights hung over white tablecloths. A string quartet played something soft that no one really listened to. Perfume mixed with the smell of steak and wine. Phones were out. Nobody wanted to miss proof they'd been in the room. On every screen, one logo kept spinning. Hail Quantum Systems. Their big $800 million deal with a mystery investor was all anyone talked about. Jamal moved through the crowd slowly, hands in pockets, eyes scanning faces. Security had already stopped him once at the door. The guard looked him up and down and asked, "You with catering, sir?" Jamal smiled, showed his black invitation card with the silver seal. The guard stepped aside, embarrassed, but still. Inside, the same energy followed him. Two women in sequins gave him a glance, then moved their clutches to the other arm like he might bump them. A man in a tux cut in front of him at the bar and said, "Staff first, right?" With a little laugh, Jamal simply shifted to the side and ordered water. No need to explain himself. If tonight went the way he planned, explanations wouldn't be necessary. At the far end, cameras turned toward the stage as the host tapped the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hail Quantum Systems Gala." Applause rose like a practiced reflex. Jamal stayed near a column close enough to see, far enough to be invisible. The host smiled too wide. "Tonight we celebrate a historic partnership. $800 million. A contract that will change the city, the market, maybe the world." You could feel the greed in the room grow thicker. Then she appeared. Vanessa Hail, the CEO's wife, glided onto the stage in a gold dress that caught every light. She waved like royalty, lips painted perfect red. Beside her stood her husband, Richard Hail, the face of the company, tailored suit pressed sharp. Everyone watched them. Everyone except the man who actually owned the company waiting to sign that deal. Jamal. Whispers started before he even moved. People clocked him from the corners of their eyes, nudging each other like he'd wandered in through the service door. A server passed with wine, and one guest leaned to her friend. "I swear that guy keeps showing up where he shouldn't. Maybe he's staff trying to blend in." The friend laughed under her breath. "Cute suit, though." Jamal ignored it. He eased through the crowd, hands relaxed, steps measured. Vanessa spotted him first. Her smirk formed slow, like she recognized a target she'd been waiting for. She whispered to Richard. His brows dropped. Richard stepped off the stage with fake charm and walked straight to Jamal. "Sir, are you supposed to be standing here?" He tapped Jamal's sleeve like he expected him to jump. Jamal kept his voice soft. "I'm fine here, just observing." Richard chuckled. "Observing, right?" He snapped at a server. "Get him a towel or something. Looks like he's sweating through that budget suit." A few guests looked over. One whispered loud enough. "Who let him into VIP? Staff entrance is on the other side." Vanessa approached next, heels clicking. She picked up a glass of red wine without looking at the server. "Eyed Jamal up and down. You know, sweetie, if you needed work tonight, you could have signed up. Pretending to be a guest isn't the move." Jamal said nothing. His calm unsettled them more. Vanessa stepped closer, raising the wine slowly. Go take this to table 3. They're waiting. She pushed it toward his chest. When he didn't grab it, her smile faded. Seriously? Do your job. Richard grabbed the glass. Allow me. He lifted it high, eyes on the crowd. One less confused worker ruining the vibe. Then he tilted it forward. Red wine poured down Jamal's suit. Warm. Sharp. Drops slid down his collar. Gasps cut the room. Someone whispered, "Damn. He really did that." Phones went up. Vanessa laughed under her breath. Maybe now he knows where he stands. Jamal wiped his jaw with 2 fingers. Slow. Controlled. Adjusted his sleeve. Straightened his posture. And walked toward the exit without a single word. A server whispered as he passed. That man walked out like he owned the place. Nobody believed it yet. Outside, Jamal pulled out his phone. Tapped 1 number. Voice answered fast. "Ready for instructions, sir." Jamal, voice low. "Pull the offer. Lock every channel. Announce it now." Understood. He ended the call. Loosened his tie. Kept walking. And that's when the real storm hit. Inside, music cut mid-note. Screens flickered. A man in gray rushed to the host, whispered something. Host went pale. Richard demanded, "What's going on?" "The signing is suspended." The room erupted. Suspended? For what? That's impossible. Vanessa's hand trembled. Who gave that order? Host looked scared. It came from the top. The partner said the directive was final. Richard barked, "I am the top." Host shook his head. "Not tonight." Phones blew up. Alerts. Every account frozen. Investors pulling out. Screens red. Then someone near the doors tapped a friend. "Look at this." Video played. Richard dumping wine. Vanessa smirking. Caption. "They humiliated a man they thought was staff. He walked out like he owned the place." The clip spread like fire. Guests stared. Silence fell hard. New alert on the main screens. Hail Quantum Systems contract terminated. Richard blinked. Terminated. Board member stormed up. "This is catastrophic. Do you know who you offended?" "I offended no one." "You offended the man who funded this entire deal." Vanessa's breath hitched. "Who?" "Jamal Rivers. He owns the partner company. All of it." A gasp rippled the hall. Server whispered, "Told you he didn't walk like staff." Vanessa pressed a hand to her forehead. Makeup smudging. We poured wine on the investor. Morning came brutal. Headlines everywhere. Clips looped. Investors gone. Board members resigned. Company value crashed. By noon, Richard and Vanessa stood at Jamal's door, broken. Vanessa, voice cracking, "We were wrong. We treated you like nothing. Please let us fix this." Jamal studied them, calm. "You didn't lose everything today. You lost it the second you decided people's worth came from your comfort. You built a world where disrespect had no cost. Now you're seeing the bill." Vanessa whispered, "We didn't know who you were. That's the problem. You didn't care who I was." Richard, weak. "Is there anything we can do?" Jamal shook his head once. "The deal is gone. The trust is gone. And my door is closed." He stepped back. Final line, quiet but final. "Walk carefully. The world is smaller than you think." They left with nothing. His life moved forward. Their legacy didn't. If you want more stories where power flips in a single moment and justice lands clean, hit that subscribe button on StorySphere right now and stay locked. We drop fire every week. See you in the next one.